Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Gwen Wheeler.
Thanks, Ben. And gosh, I am just so inspired. And what I really want to be doing is reading everybody's takeaways and the actions. But it's already at time, and I need to close this out. I had a 5-minute speech. I don't know. But here's what I do want to say. Louisville's 55K chapter is closing. And it has been a true privilege and honor to support this partnership. And I'm so proud of what this community has done together. And that word community means so much more now with Dr. Perry's comments. You know, what we did, we set an ambitious collective goal, and we held a belief that we could do it together. We demanded transparency of data. We took on responsibility for our part, and we held each other mutually accountable. And that motivated us because we were asking each other to keep the student at the center. We built bridges at places where a handoff between those silos was needed. We identified what support students needed, and then we provided them. I'm so inspired by our post-secondary partners who have doggedly improved student retention, persistence, and completion, and used data to know when and where the students were falling off track, and then reached out with advisement or supports or emergency funding or even timely mini grants. I'm so inspired by the academies of Louisville and where Kentuckiana Works and GLI and JCPS are connecting with business partners and students and higher ed, Jefferson and U of L and others that are providing dual credit courses so that these pathways are more seamless and smoother. By the work being done to reskill and upskill current workers or those who are unemployed or underemployed, and this new important focus on disconnected youth, or what we call opportunity youth. I'm so inspired by our Black and Latinx leaders, activists, and allies whose relentless insistence that students of color, poor students, whose barriers of poverty are often rooted in structural racism, be included in this promise of education. And I'm so inspired by JCPS's racial equity plan and implementation. And now our collective challenge is to insist on implementation of the many other racial equity plans that are being put in place and made in response to the calls for justice for our own Breonna Taylor, GLI's racial equity plan, U of L's commitment to anti-racism, others, the city's racial equity plan that the mayor mentioned. But I want to leave you with a few more challenges, and these are the same ones in some ways that Dr. Perry did, so I'm feeling so validated. Let's continue that collective, regular, and transparent community level review of our education data. Who's getting that quality education and who's not? It's the way to stay focused and to be motivated by our aligned action. I'm pleased to say that Greater Louisville Project will be taking on the task to update and publish the education data dashboard. Make sure they know what else needs to be researched. Evolve 502 is identifying those pinch points where students are falling off the path. Make sure that they report on progress to the community. I saw Dr. Kish Kumi-Price, I'm not sure if she's still on at U of L. She's dug into this education data and is a true resource now for our community on student outcomes. Be sure to follow Urban League's education advocacy. Metro United Way is leading our capacity to refer and track social services and supports throughout our community through their United Community platform. How will we make this data sharing tool the platform for a community-wide safety net? Second challenge, data first. Second challenge, we must recognize that we depend on people wanting and embracing learning opportunities. So we've got to collectively figure out how to share the onus of financial aid and navigational burdens to get credentials and degrees, particularly for adults. Leaving it to the individual risks losing untapped talent. Third, we must invest. And we've talked about that, and Dr. Perry talked about that, Marlon talked about that. If we think education is foundational, we've got to put more resources there. Invest in 2 years of tuition-free college for an entire generation of public school grads. Let's demand that the legislature bring Kentucky's funding of higher ed back up and to the national average as a target. Let's help employers and post-secondaries create more short-term stackable credentials so people can move in more quickly and start to rise up on that education and career pathway. And let's ensure that JCPS, with their increased taxes, fully implements its future state vision, investing in student learning and support, and changing policies for more equitable access to quality teaching. So thank you for letting me stay on my soapbox to close us out here. But inclusion means having high expectations for everyone and for ourselves. It's easy with the twin pandemics. I shouldn't say it's easy. The twin pandemics of COVID-19 and our racial and social inequities have stretched us, and we are tired. So it's hard to see how we'll catch up. But I'm filled with hope that the next wave of leaders, student activists, protesters, activists, all of us, I'm so inspired that we'll embrace the future and meet these challenges. I really thank you for participating today and creating this community that we'll take forward. We are what we need. We are the answer. Let's get to work. Thanks to all.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Good to
Thank
see
you
your
very much.
faces.
Thank you
Look
very
forward to
much.
doing it again over rubber chicken.
Thank
Great
you.
job, Mary Gwen. Great job.
Great job, Mary Gwen. Thank
Great
you all.
job. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Amazing.